The tax abatement is changing, and here's what you need to know. Hey guys, Mike Hines here from Build Collective, Coldwell Banker West Shell. I wanted to come to you today to share with you a little bit about what's happening with the tax abatement in the city of Cincinnati. For those of you that have been living under a rock, may not know about the tax abatement. It's been around for a couple of decades now, and it's been really a huge catalyst behind quite a few of the new homes in the city of Cincinnati. That can be High Park, Mount Lookout, Walnut Hills, Evanston, downtown, over the Rhine. All of those areas are capitalizing on the tax abatement. It's changing. So I wanted to reach out to you today and just share with you what's going on. Now, keep in mind, we keep a close eye on this, but I'm by no means an expert. I've been lucky enough to talk to Paul Yankee of Green Building Consulting, who is an expert on this. In fact, he's actually been on the Property Tax Working Group, which is a small council of people that have gotten together over the course of the past 12 months to investigate the property tax abatement and see what things and little nuances can be changed for the betterment of the community. So with that said, I wanted to jump into just a handful of things that you need to know as it's changing. So first off, as I mentioned, the past 12 months, this property tax group has been meeting, and they've been nice enough to volunteer their time under the guidance of Vice Mayor Smitherman, Paul Yankee, and quite a few other folks out there have been working on this. So they, on September 2nd, Vice Mayor Smitherman passed a motion within City Council to actually have some of these new policies take effect. So I tell you that just so you know that these are going into motion, but by no means have they been set in stone. There's still some changes that can happen, and there's some technicalities within the law that needs to happen for the policy to take effect. So if I'm butchering that portion of it, I'm sorry. I'm not an attorney, and I don't know the exact details of this, but what I do know is this is happening, and the changes will take effect at some point in time, most likely. And they're in the works right now. So with that said, the biggest thing for you to know right now is the different levels of the certification are changing. So currently there is a couple different types of it. There's standard abatement. So through the CRA, again, Community Reinvestment Act, through the CRA, there's a standard abatement of $275,000 abated value on there. And I should probably back up for even a second to let you know that the way that the property tax abatement works is you start off with your land basis. So that could be a piece of land, a house, a tear down, whatever you say. So let's just say that's $100,000. Any increase above that $100,000, which is called the improvement value, that's where there comes the ability for the abatement. So if you have a $100,000 lot, you build a $400,000 house, a portion of that $400,000 above and beyond the basis in the property can be what can be abated. It could be all of it, some of it, it just depends. So standard abatement had always been $275,000, and the years changed as far as the maximum amount of years from 10 to 12, and that's changed over the years. But now it's going to be a different level, and that's all changing because people want to look at exactly how that's impacting certain neighborhoods, how that's impacting the community in general. Do we need this tax abatement? So they've kind of gone back and reassessed everything. Within that, there's, of course, the LEED standards. There's the standard abatement, and then, of course, there's other little nuances, visitability, and different details that go into that you get little extra details that can, extra improvements or extra abated values that can be included in there. So it's very complex unless you have a beautiful spreadsheet, which will actually be attached to this video and down below at the link, just because we want you to take a look at this. This is much more visually pleasing and easy to understand. So as I mentioned, the first thing is the terms and the caps are changing. So what does that mean? So used to be, if you were going to build a LEED standard house, if you were building LEED, you'd be at $400,000 abated for LEED silver, $562,000 abated for LEED gold, and then up to unlimited abated above your original land basis could be unlimited under platinum. That's all going to change now. So under the Vice Smitherman motion on September 2nd, that's actually going to change. Now, when you just build standard new construction, that's actually going to now be a cap of $200,000 for 10 years. That's no LEED certification, nothing along those lines. Just if you're building something or you're doing an improvement to your existing house, $200,000 will be abated for 10 years. If you jump into the LEED qualifications on new construction, silver, gold to platinum is now going to be $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And it's actually going to jump from 12 years for silver and gold to 15 years for platinum. So it's not quite as significant as it was before, but hey, it's still a great thing, and it's something that really does incentivize building in the city of Cincinnati. So it's maybe not as attractive as it was, but the city's gotten some momentum, so now it's changing just to adapt with what's happened so far. So, of course, remodeling is another big question. So when you look at remodeling, that changes a little bit from a non-HERS or LEED remodel. And again, these details are going to be in the spreadsheet, so you can look at these and go back to them. But a remodel is going to be at $275,000 for 10 years. Then when you jump into a HERS remodel, again, there's all kinds of details. We're not going to get into that today. That's $300,000 for 12 years. And then you get into the silver, gold, and platinum categories, which are actually incentivized even more, starting at silver at $400,000 for a remodel. Compare that to LEED silver of new construction at $300,000. And then you're going to be looking at LEED gold and platinum, which are now respectively at $500,000 and $650,000 for 15 year. Then they sprinkled in to make this even more complicated, a historical renovation that actually gets you a little bit more benefit. But we'll go into that because that's something that could stay in this, could change. All of this could change to some degree, but I think this is the guidelines of what they've proposed over the course of the past several months. So that's the first thing. So caps and terms are changing. You really need to know that. If you're looking to build a house, renovate a house, you need to call your building consultant within, whether it's Green Building Council or Consulting or one of the other great firms out there. You need to call them to understand exactly how that's going to work. Second question we've gotten a lot so far is grandfathering. Are properties that are under construction now or getting ready to start, are they going to be grandfathered in? Most likely answer is yes from what we're hearing. Of course, this could change, but they're trying to figure out how they can grandfather that in to make sure you are set and it doesn't change on you while you're in the middle of construction. Not exactly sure how this is going to work out. We've heard some rumors that maybe it's going to be something along the lines of if you're in for some sort of permit, whether it's a demo permit, if it's a permit just for the house itself, you're building the renovation, whatever it is, if you're in for a permit, that could grandfather you in for some sunset period, some period of time that will actually take care of that. So that's something to know. So again, that's not finalized yet, but we'll know probably more pretty soon. We're keeping a close eye on that. One great piece of news is they're actually trying to bring 4 families who are on the commercial code before. Now they're trying to bring them over into the residential code as far as this tax abatement. So that could be great for somebody looking to build or renovate a 4-family because the restrictions are a little bit less. So we're really trying to incentivize keeping some of those 4 families or renovating them, fixing them up. So they're really great additions and can kind of keep a long lasting life for those. So it's interesting if you're a multifamily developer, builder, owner, that's something to keep an eye on because it could be really impactful for you. Next one, you may not know much about this, but this is visibility. So what visibility means is essentially, think about it as like people visiting your house to some degree, but it's kind of like an ADA standard to some degree. If you go to the LEED Council website, you can actually find, and really you just Google visibility LEED standards. You can take a look at that. It comes into having one area where there's a zero entry, no step coming into your house, and then doorways are a little bit wider. So it really comes around like accessibility, ADA standards, those sorts of things in the house. But if you get that, you can actually, under this plan, you can get an extra $100,000 abated of your value if you do visibility. It may not cost you that much up front, but it's something that you really want to keep an eye on and maybe actually add in there because you get some, and you get some extra abatement, of course. Again, this is stuff that can only be done up front, so you got to talk to your architect, your builder about these things up front, and your consultant to make sure you're in good shape. Lastly, I think I probably can't hit on this enough, but it really is important for you to talk to your consultant on every fragment of the tax abatement and what you're looking to do. So just pick up the phone and call Paul Yankee or one of the other companies in town and just ask them some questions about it. Chances are they're more knowledgeable than even I on this subject. Not chances are, it's a guarantee that they are because they're keeping a close eye on everything. But they can also tell you about grandfathering and how this whole process is going to work and what the timeline is, because also all of this is up in the air a little bit. It looks like it could be, enacted in the next 30 to 60 days, or it could take a little longer. You know how the government could go on that front. No digs there, just common sense, really. But when you're looking at this, it could change because they're even looking at a tiered approach for different neighborhoods. They're looking at all sorts of things. But I think the biggest key is the motion passed on September 2nd is really important because that's setting all this stuff into action and things are going to start happening quickly is probably the wrong word, but at a faster pace than they were even a month or two ago. So with all that said, on the link here, you can go to www.buildcollective.com/tax abatements, and that will get you all the information you need to know. We know all sorts of things about this tax abatement, Blue Ash tax abatement, Norwood tax abatement, and other areas that they're considering them right now. So we're trying to keep this as good quality information. Of course, it's time sensitive, so in 30, 60 days, it could change from here. We're just trying to keep you in the loop on this front. But a big thank you to Paul Yankee. I think I've mentioned his name like 5 times here, but that's also because I've been calling him. He's been nice enough to work with the HBA, the City of Cincinnati, the neighborhood groups to really kind of tell them how all this works and the nuts and bolts behind it, because I think that really is important. So he's been so generous with his time to us and to everybody on there. And then, of course, all the people on the property working tax group, we really appreciate you guys as well, because it takes a lot of time, energy, and insight into really kind of directing what's going to drive the community over the next decade, 2 decades, you name it, because this stuff lasts. These will take effect and probably be in effect for quite a while. So we appreciate it. So if you have questions, again, my name is Mike Hines of Build Collective. You're welcome to give me a call at 513-260-0424, or again, call Green Building Consulting, which is located downtown over the Rhine, and we're happy to help. Anyways, take care and best of luck.